You are now watching LSSC TV, which is an acronym for Living and Surviving with Sickle Cell. I am the host, A Boogie Gaza King 516, aka A King Zito. Today's video that we're going to check it out is Dr.Freda, Lewis Hall, and T-Boz discuss sickle cell disease on the Dr. S show. This video also is brought to you by Pfizer. The doctor, she's the chief medical officer of Pfizer. Let's get into it, man.
Welcome back to the show. I'm joined by Dr. Freda Lewis Hall, Chief Medical Officer of Pfizer, who is back to discuss sickle cell disease, a blood disorder that in the U.S. affects primarily African Americans. Thank you for being with us, as always.
Thank you. Always great to be here.
We have recording artist T-Boz Watkins of the group TLC, who knows about this disease firsthand.
Chasing waterfalls, listening to the rivers and the lakes that you use.
As lead singer for the group TLC, T-Boz Watkins has sold more than 65 million records worldwide. TLC is ranked as the best-selling female group of all time in the United States, and the second best-selling female group worldwide. With 5 Grammy Awards and 4 #1 singles, TLC has made its mark in the music industry.
Please welcome to the show, T-Boz!
T-Boz.
Okay. Thanks for being
Also, this video is 9 years old. Alright.
here.
It's my
You look
pleasure.
fantastic.
You're sweet. Thank you. Thanks for talking about sickle cell. I wasn't properly diagnosed until I was 28 years old, so I lived 28 years not understanding what I had, which is crazy.
Dang, 28 years not knowing you had sickle cell? That's crazy. I know that. She was feeling that pain. She like, what the heck?
I just want to remind everyone what sickle cell disease is. It's an inherited blood disorder, and the red blood cells are normally smooth ovals. Those carry oxygen throughout your body. But when you have sickle cell, your cells are actually abnormally shaped, like a sickle with those jagged edges. And then what happens is sickle cells, they're stiff, they're sticky, and when they're stiff and sticky like that, they can clump together. Seems like no big deal, but what happens when they clump together, it blocks blood flow. When you don't get blood flow, you don't get oxygen to your limbs and other organs. That blocked blood flow can cause pain, severe organ damage. It can cause damage to the spleen, which, of course, as you know, raises the risk for severe infections. And it's a cascading effect if you don't manage it properly.
So how does sickle cell happen? How do you get the trait, or how do you get the disease? In order to have the disease, you have to inherit it, the gene from both parents. So you have your mom and your dad. My daughter has the trait, though, so she doesn't have the disease, but this is Chase.
Hi, Chase.
Look at T-Boz's Daughter by Mac 10.
Beautiful like her mama.
Facts.
And then the trait happens when you have one normal gene and one sickle cell gene. So what happens if you put 2 people with the trait together? What actually might happen for their children? The first thing is they could inherit the disease. The second thing that can happen is they would inherit the trait, which usually doesn't have severe health consequences.
Right.
And then the third thing that can happen is they have neither. They don't have the trait or the disease. But here's the good news. In almost every state, almost every newborn is now tested for sickle cell disease. A lot of people think that only African Americans get sickle cell disease. But that's not true. Some other ethnic groups actually are affected by sickle cell disease as well. So this form of testing now gives us...
Back in my day, that's what I knew. And that's what they used to say. You know what I'm saying? Only minorities get this disease, but like she said, more ethnicities. If I pronounced it wrong, don't hold me. It's getting sickle cell.
Chance to make sure that whoever is affected is picked up right there in the hospital. But I'm not sure that people really understand what these painful crises are like. The best way to describe it is it feels like a knife is stabbing you in your joints constantly.
Facts.
So you go to the hospital, they give you IV fluid, which helps flush your blood. And
Like I said, I always say it feel like I'm getting shot and stabbed at the same time, yo.
they give you oxygen to get oxygen to your organs. And then a lot of powerful pain medicine. It's like really hard, which when I go, I get a lot of fans saying, oh, she's rich, she's T-Boz, she gets special treatment. What kind of special treatment? Money can't buy a cure that doesn't exist. So what am I getting? And I get it worse because they think all celebrities are, she's a druggie, she's seeking drugs. So a lot of patients come in and they go, oh,
You see, like, I don't get that stigma, man, from doctors. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get it. Y'all already know how I feel about it. This is why I'm doing it. I'm doing that for the younger ones that's coming up after me with this disease. You know what I'm saying? So they won't have to go through physical and
I
mental.
think it's important that everyone understands how severe these
You know what I'm
pain
saying?
crises are, because when they're bad, you require a lot of pain medication to help you just get through it, to survive it. I'm glad we're raising awareness about this, because this is something everyone should know if they're a carrier. And like you, it shouldn't be when you're 28 years of age. So we'll discuss more with T-Boz after the break. When we come back, T-Boz is going to share what she does daily to help manage her pain. Stick around.
Yeah, man. That's the video. Went black for a minute. Just give it. Here we go.
In September 1996, TLC was at the top of their game when it was announced to the world that T-Boz Watkins had been battling the incurable blood disease sickle cell anemia. She came forward to shed light on sickle cell and to be a spokesperson for the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America.
We're back with T-Boz of the group TLC. She suffers from sickle cell beta thalassemia. And what was it like back when the world found out that you were dealing with?
Oh, she got thalassemia. Beta. I got sickle cell anemia, SS. It's like the same thing. It's just a different type of sickle cell.
It was hard because they thought I had AIDS and HIV. I was told I wouldn't live past 30. I would never travel the world. I'd be disabled. And I would never have children. My daughter's 13. I'm 43.
Look at that.
And I'm in the biggest girl group of all time.
That's right. That's right. That's what's up.
We were talking earlier about pain. There's also the fatigue, which is why we're so, intrigued by your ability to go do what you do.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm not going to pretend it was easy. It's a daily thing for me. I do a lot of stuff, though.
Okay.
I've done a lot of research. Research is so important. And I have my concoctions that I have. They're all
Me too.
natural.
Oh,
but they
boy,
work for me.
So these are some of your concoctions. I'm curious, what is that, T-Boz?
This is apple juice and this is oregano oil. You can drop this under your tongue. Your breath will be kicking and it'll burn a little. But if you can't take it that way, you can put in apple juice or orange juice, just 3 drops a day. And once it gets in your system, it'll really build your immune system and keep the cooties away.
Okay, so what do we have
This one looks
here?
really interesting. What is
Okay,
this?
so this is kale salad. I put vinaigrette or
kale
whatever
too.
kind of, balsamic vinegar. And
You put some
for
cranberries
me, what
in
I
there.
found out, inflammation
T-Boz.
causes pain, so kale is a natural anti-inflammatory. So if you just eat raw kale salads, cranberries, and if you like avocados or whatever, salad dressing, boom.
Beetroot.
It's
It can
packed
help
with
with
iron
pain.
too, so you are on the
Yeah.
right track. So what
All of
else do you
these
have?
foods are anti-inflammatory. I love it. And even
See, I got something called high iron deficiency because through the years of all the blood transfusions that they gave me, blood have iron in it. So if you get mad blood transfusions over the year, your body is going to overload with iron. So I have something called iron overload. You know what I'm saying? So certain foods, they don't want me to eat, but I still eat it for the sickle cell, man.
the beets that you said you just hate,
Saving that
Yeah,
one.
the
for you.
beets.
Is this a beet smoothie?
And I hate eating beets. I can't eat beets. Okay, great. Did
I
y'all
can't
make
eat
it
beets
right,
either.
though?
You
Drink
heard
it.
about me and
Did they
beets,
make it
right?
right? Oh, let's see. Did they make it right? Tell-
That's how I do it too. I drink it. My mom make that junk for me. You know what I'm saying? My wife used to make it for me. My mom make it now. It's good, man.
There are beets. There's kale in here too.
Okay,
Yeah,
as you make it
this
sweet,
is
it's
the
not
first
as bad,
sweetie
but
thing for me.
beets are like I can't chew them like that.
Is there some
but if
ginger?
you grind them up in juice and put a whole bunch of apples and ginger to spice it, I like it that way. We're not exactly sure about how these things actually help us, which is why some of the nutritional support and research that is now going
She the
on
doctor.
is happening to help us get answers to these critical questions.
It is
Dr.Freda
important for us to
Lewis
mention the
Hall.
things that might make a crisis come on, which one would be dehydration. So, of course, T-Boz stays hydrated with a lot of water. And then stress. So I can't imagine being a singer and trying to manage the stress of things, but trying to keep stress to a minimum. So what do you do to de-stress?
Kick everybody who stresses me out of my
There
life.
you go.
And there are a whole range of symptoms too that you have to manage. So we talked about pain, we talked about fatigue, we talked about what you needed to kind of stay away from, but there are some other things you have to manage, like shortness of breath or dizziness, headaches, and then there's some things that can happen with your skin, right? So sometimes your skin is especially pale, or people who have sickle cell have yellowing of their skin, which we call jaundice, or yellowing of the whites of their eyes, which we call icterus. So all of these things you're dealing with all day, every day. So you have to make sure that you're up on your vaccinations, that you kind of move at the first hint of any infection to get it taken care of. And then I want to make sure that everybody knows if they want more information about sickle cell disease, they can go to gethealthystayhealthy.com.
And I really hope that having T-Boz here today, I hope everyone realizes and understands a little bit more about how difficult it can be to deal with sickle cell. Before we do let you go, what cool projects do you have coming up?
We're doing a show January 29th, Super Bowl weekend, and it's like TLC and Friends. So big performance of
Like I
all
said,
the
this
hits.
old.
So it should be fun.
I'm excited.
Keep up all of it.
So nice to meet you.
We'll be right back.
Alright, let's check out another one real quick, man, while I'm here. If it let me.
Chasing waterfalls, please stick to the rivers and the lakes.
At the age of
It's
7,
another one.
recording a
This is T-Boz talking about sickle cell disease on E. But the person that uploaded it 9 years ago is Super Coy Boy 2. So shout out to that channel. Go subscribe.
Tion Watkins, aka T-Boz, was given a virtual death sentence.
They told me I wouldn't live past 30.
T-Boz's medical nightmare began when she experienced sharp, dagger-like pains in her legs and hands.
It would stop me from walking if it hurt my legs, or if my arms hurt, I can't hold anything, a pencil, a glass.
Finally, doctors figured out what was wrong with Tion. She had sickle cell disease.
Sickle cell is a devastating disease. It's an inherited genetic disorder whereby the shape of the blood cells is actually changed.
Normal people's red blood cells are circular. Ours take on an S shape, meaning oxygen doesn't flow through our bloodstream. And so when that happens, they call that a crisis. When a crisis happens, your blood clots, they have to give you IV fluids to flush your blood so you can get oxygen to your organs.
Sickle cell is one of the most common genetic diseases in the United States. In order for a child to get the disease, both parents have to carry the trait. Typical warning signs of sickle cell disease include anemia, swollen hands and feet, and frequent infections.
It's a big issue in the African American community because 1 in 12 African Americans carries the trait.
The future music superstar had solid support in battling her illness.
My mother made me feel good about myself. She didn't treat me like I was handicapped or sick. She pushed me to do things that she knew I could do.
T-Boz followed her dream of becoming a recording artist. In 1991, she joined the girl group TLC,
Hello, everybody.
but kept quiet about her condition.
I don't like people to pity me. I'm strong. I can do
Facts, you hear that?
this. I don't like people saying, oh, I feel so bad for her. Life ain't that bad.
T-Boz and TLC hit the charts and became one of the best-selling girl groups of all time. But the
Facts.
demands of recording and touring took a toll on Tion.
I chose to be an artist. When you stay stressed, you don't eat right.
T-Boz often suffered from anemia because her sickle-shaped blood cells couldn't carry enough oxygen and iron through her body.
I have never made it through a tour without going to the hospital. And we dance hard. And, sometimes my lungs are weak.
In 1996, During TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool tour, the 26-year-old singer collapsed.
I was wore out. I was tired. My body just gave out.
T-Boz ended up in the hospital for 2 months.
I've been through so much with sickle cell that
I've been there 2 months, 3 months. It's crazy, yo. But yeah, she got thalassemia. I got SS. So I think that's crazy, yo.
never told people. It's plenty of times I could have died. Times my heart almost stopped.
The incident proved to be a much-needed wake-up call. Tion started taking better care of herself. She watched her diet, made sure to drink plenty of water, and stayed away from germs.
I'm like the cootie man. Like if you have cooties and look at me, I'll probably catch it because our immune systems are really low.
T-Boz had another reason to keep fighting. When against the odds, she turned 30 and became a mother in the year 2000.
They told me I wouldn't live past 30. I'm 38. They told me I would never have kids. My daughter's 8.
And I'm 35. Thank God, God's grace shed his grace on us. That's what they thought. But God had a better plan for us.
My daughter has really helped me as far as like having something to live for because really I was really taking a lot of risks with my health when I didn't have her.
Though Tion's daughter Chase is a carrier for sickle cell, she is at no risk of developing the disease herself.
Thank God.
In 2005, T-Boz became the national spokesperson for the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America.
I'm still raising money to try and find a cure. There's no cure for sickle cell, and that's why I am the national spokesperson. I want to live and see my daughter have kids. I want to be a grandmother. I want to stay here too.
There are medications that help manage the disease, but the most important factors are...
Well, they got stem cell transplant, bone marrow transplant, which that's what I'm going through right now. You know what I'm saying? They got a couple stuff out there. You just got it. It's up to your body to see if it works, man. That's it. But God been keeping us this long, and that's who I got my faith in.
preventive.
Now I gotta work out. I'm like, but you know, to keep my heart healthy, I'll stay here longer. And I've found some holistic vitamins that work for me. So I'm always drinking a vitamin drink, popping pills, and really that's my regimen.
Still, T-Boz believes in the power of positive thinking.
Sickle cell is no longer a teenage death sentence. In the 1970s, average age of survival was 14. Now, the average...
Yo, I just did some statistics on that. That's my next video. I'm going to bring that to y'all, man. It's crazy. Stay tuned for that one.
age of survival for someone with sickle cell anemia in the United States is in their 50s.
Try different things to see what works for you. Because you don't have to die like that. It's not always so. That's not true.
Right.
I'm living proof. I'm a miracle baby.
Me too. Alright, man. That's it for today. I want to say thank you for watching. Good night. Good morning. It depends what time you watch this. Peace. Yo, please subscribe, man. Hit the like button. Comment. Share. Please, man. Get me in the algorithm. I've been going for a minute. But thank you, guys.